for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right. Well. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. How you doing? Today's Tuesday, May 31st, 2022. Let's do this. Man, Billy Carson in the house tonight. I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and UnX Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? All right, tonight, right here on this very program, Billy Carson is with us. We're going to be talking about the Black Knight satellite. Tomorrow night, John Burroughs is here. Huge show. A huge week this week on Fade to Black. I want to thank Ross Coulthard last night. Just an absolutely amazing show. And to come off the heels of that, we've got to have Billy Carson on. It's got to get bigger. And then John Burroughs. And then we're going to wrap up this week with Fader Night on Thursday. Absolutely incredible. And then after that, I'm leaving on a jet plane. I'm going to fly to Detroit and hang out with Billy for the premiere of his film, The Black Knight Satellite. That will be in Detroit. And here's the thing. Now, I've got links up in the video description box below. You can go down and check that out for the premiere in Detroit. And I hear it all the time. It's like, Jimmy, man, everything goes on in California. Everything is always West Coast. There's nothing ever out here. We never get to hang out. You know what? Detroit, Sunday night. You want to come hang out with Billy and I? You want to say hello? You want to talk? You want to hang out? Sunday night in Detroit. Come and hang out with us. It is going to be amazing. So I will see everybody there. I've got some friends that have contacted me that are going to be there, and I cannot wait to head out. And that's Sunday night. So I've got a show on Monday, which means I'm jetting back, and I'm going to somehow get to the bunker and have a show Monday night. And that's how you do it, man. You just got to get it done. You got to do it. And that's what's happening. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. I will be in Detroit this weekend, June 5th, for the premiere of Billy's movie. And again, the links for the event are below. They're throughout social media. And we've also got it over on our website. There are a few seats left. And I would love, if you want to go and you want to come hang out with us, go and get yourself some tickets and come hang out with us. All right. Follow me on Twitter. Oh, before I jump ahead, next week I'm going to be doing a Disclosure Fest special event here on Fade to Black, because we're going to bring on some speakers and musicians that are going to be at Disclosure Fest. And we'll have Adrian Valera here with us. And some friends, and that's going to be next week, because I'm hosting Disclosure Fest. Tomorrow is June 1st, And that's it. This is June 18th. This is coming up very, very quickly. So there you go. All right. And disclosurefest.org is where you want to go for tickets and information. This is quite possibly the biggest event for our community in the entire world. And it's only one day. So come and hang out with us here in Los Angeles, downtown at the Los Angeles State Historic Park. Okay. And I was going to announce something. No, I can't do it quite yet. I was told to hold off. Man, I was excited. All right. I got a couple of other events that are coming up. And hopefully next week and the next 2 weeks, I'll be able to talk about those. Okay. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. And I've kind of, snuck this in over the last couple of weeks. My little escape from the world of conspiracy and UFOs is Instagram. It's my little music journey. And if you want to check out what I'm doing over there, go ahead. It's Jimmy Church Radio. And like today, I took a picture of my guitar amp. I have a few guitar amps, but my main amp, right, the Marshall, which is over there. I took a picture of the Marshall. And I mean, it's like taking a picture of my pets and posting them. I get to just do music stuff. So follow me over on Instagram, Jimmy Church Radio, if you want to peep that stuff out. I really seriously, is there a way? Will there be UFO stuff there? Only if it ties in with music. So there you go. There may be UFO stuff there, but it's going to be music related, like an alien guitar painted by Pamelina. I hope she's listening right now. She's absolutely amazing. All right. Where am I at? I got a ton of breaking news. So let's get to this is thank you, Renee. An absolutely amazing news day. And one of the things that I enjoy most about the show is doing the news each night and researching the news each day. And Renee, who handles the news here, and she's sending me stuff, and then that's rabbit hole after rabbit hole, and it's so much fun. And today was just a great news day. Well, a crazy news day like this. A team of German and Kurdish archaeologists have uncovered a 3,400-year-old Mitanni Empire area city located on the Tigris River. The settlement emerged from the waters of the Mosul Reservoir earlier this year as water levels fell rapidly due to extreme drought in Iraq, climate change. The extensive city with a palace and several large buildings could be ancient Zakiku, an important center in the Mitanni Empire around 1550 BC. The archaeologists discovered 5 ceramic vessels, check this, that contain an archive of over 100 cuneiform tablets. Yeehaw! Some of the clay tablets are still in their clay envelopes. More on this as the story develops. And in other found city news, that's right, a Mayan city, including palaces, pyramids, and plazas, has been discovered at a construction site on a private land near the coast of the southern Yucatan Peninsula. Archaeologist Carlos Peraza said that the site, known as Ziol, was home to more than 4,000 people from about 600 to 900 AD. The landowners say that they will preserve the city, although the construction project will continue. Amazing news. Now, check this out. Podcast listeners could not access many of their favorite shows for more than 8 hours last night, early into Tuesday morning, due to an outage on Megaphone, a podcast hosting platform owned by Spotify. The outage stemmed from the company's failure to renew Megaphone's security certificate. This is the second time this week that Joe Rogan has been affected by technical issues at Spotify. On Wednesday, dozens of episodes were removed from the show's feed due to Spotify says, a glitch. That's right. Let's check this out. HSBC Bank has suspended a senior executive who accused central bankers and other officials of exaggerating the financial risk of climate change. Last week, Stuart Kirk, a leader in the bank's responsible investing team, said, and I quote, "There's always a nut job telling me about the end of the world," end quote. Well, today, Kirk is at the end of his job. HSBC came under pressure to sack Kirk after he gave the presentation entitled, quote, "Why Investors Need Not Worry About Climate Risk," end quote, at the FT Moral Money Summit last Thursday. Yeah. Top Gun Maverick took off at the box office this weekend, setting a new record in the process. The sequel to the 1986 blockbuster, which has, Tom Cruise reprise his role as Pete Maverick Mitchell, made an estimated $156 million domestically for its 4-day opening weekend, the biggest ever for the Memorial holiday. It's easily Cruise's biggest debut at the box office over his 40-year career and marks his first $100 million opening. There you go. Everybody says the film is great. I haven't seen it yet. I have not seen it yet. Now, scientists have used probability. Now, okay. This is some of the biggest, craziest news. And it's actually out of China. It's UFO news out of China. Are you ready? Scientists have used probability simulations to come to an estimate on the number of alien civilizations that might exist in our Milky Way galaxy. And the number they've arrived at is pretty specific. 42,777. The value was calculated by researchers Wenji Song and He Gao from the Department of Astronomy at Beijing Normal University in China. He used something called a Monte Carlo simulation, a mathematical technique used to estimate possible outcomes of an uncertain event. And they did all of this to come to their conclusion of 42,777 alien civilizations in our Milky Way. There you go. That's the breaking news. Let's get this show cracking. On this day in history, OTD, when this day in history pops up, now remember, it'll pop up every 4 years, every 5 years. So I've done this, I think, twice, but I will always do this because it's one of the most important days in history. Because it happened in 1977. The BBC bans the Sex Pistols' God Save the Queen, making them the most famous band in the world on this day in 1977. Fader fact. All right, here you go. This is why I love my job right here. This fader fact. Headphone cable caught in my flip-flop. Fader fact. The darkest planet is darker than the blackest lump of coal. Its name is TRES-2b, and it absorbs 99% of the light falling on its surface. It is 750 light years away from our solar system and is revolving around a sun-like star GSC 03549-02811. There you go. That is your Fader Fact. Tonight, we welcome Billy Carson. He is back. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Black Knight satellite. Billy's research into the Black Knight satellite, and I'm going to tell you that once you start the kind of research that Billy did and the minds that he pulled together, you're going to learn stuff. And the Black Knight satellite is a difficult thing to research out there. And once this film started to get put together and I started to see the research and the things that were coming in about it, I learned things. The Black Knight satellite is absolutely incredible. The film debuts this weekend. Tonight, Billy is here to talk about the Black Knight satellite and what he has learned. Tomorrow night, John Burroughs is here. Big show tomorrow night. Thursday's another Fader night with open lines all night long. All right, now it's time for me to hit this. River Moon Coffee. rivermoonwellness.com. Fade to Black blend is the best coffee in the world. There's none better. There isn't a better coffee than Fade to Black blend by River Moon. It simply does not exist. Trust me, rivermoonwellness.com. Anybody that's ever had Fade to Black blend says the same thing. Church, you don't hype this up enough. I'm just like, I do what I can. I do what I can. I mean, it's just amazing coffee. I've been drinking coffee my entire life. My earliest memories, I mean, my mom had that percolator thing, right? Aluminum with that glass little thing on the top, and the coffee would bubble up into that. Then you knew it was, you remember those, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm like 2 pouring my coffee. I'm not kidding. All right. I love my coffee, and this is truly the best. Did you see the meteor shower last night? I did, and it was pretty incredible, actually. I don't know. I didn't follow up on the reports today if it was as big as astronomers out there were hoping it was going to be. I don't know. I don't watch that many meteor showers. I tend to miss them. I've seen a couple in my life, and some have been pretty cool. So I don't know what to expect. But last night, what I saw was pretty amazing. And so I told everybody about night sky. So last night after the show, I shuffle outside. I get my night sky out. You remember, I keep talking about the movie Don't Look Up, right? And at the end of the movie, when they finally look up and they see the comet in the sky. And so I take out night sky and I'm scanning and looking for Hercules, and right there is a comet. I was like, oh, so that's where it is, right? And so I go and I get the night vision and pop the night vision, and I got the night vision to my eyeballs. Pew. I was like, wow, okay. All right. So I pulled out my chair and I sat there for about 15 minutes. And you know what was weird? I got other stuff I want to talk about, but I just want to address the meteor shower. And if everybody went out last night and watched it, but I pulled up my chair, and this is the thing. So it told me to look in this direction. And I saw that first one. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to sit here and watch this all night long. Nothing happened. So I kind of scanned, and then it was over here. Now, I double checked. The comet's here. It was over here. Whatever. But, man, I saw 2 chunks. The streaks were going by. I saw maybe 10 or 15 in about 10 minutes. I lost count. And actually, they were going in different directions. I thought that they would only be going in one direction. But anyway, 2 chunks, big ones. And that was pretty dramatic to see in the night vision, the trail, and looks like it was pretty hot, whatever it was. But yeah, so anyway, the meteor shower last night was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed it. I would have stayed out there all night, but I had other stuff to do, like Stranger Things. Okay, now I just finished the first half of season 4 of Stranger Things. So they've got it set up. They've got Act 1 and Act 2, or whatever they're calling it. So they split up the season 4 into 2 halves. And I completed the first half last night after the show. And I got to say, it's really, really good. And those last 2 episodes, when it first started to, I don't want to discourage anybody. The first episode, and I've always enjoyed Stranger Things. I'm like, okay, where's this going? How is this? Okay, all right. Watch the recap, and a little slow, but now I appreciate it because it's a really, really, really complex season. And I do see how they have got this split up now, because there are 4 or 5 different stories going on at the same time around the world. And there was no way that this could continue so I could keep my head straight. Now, that's all I'm going to say. But some of the cinematography and the way that they dealt with the upside down and things and the dreamscapes were really, really good. I mean, like, I was like, this is really cool. So, but now I'm not here to talk about Stranger Things. No, you probably want me to talk about Stranger Things, but what I really want to talk about is a movie from 1972. Now, I want everybody to take out your pen and paper, and I want you to write this down. It's 1972. It's a movie called The Disappearance of Flight 412, starring, wait for it, Glenn Ford. I'm not making this up. It's a movie about UFOs, the Air Force, missing planes, secret bases in the desert. Yepers, it all happens in this film. It's a must-see on so many levels. And again, I want to repeat, this is 1972. And there is, you got to watch the film. There is a debriefing, an interrogation from an intelligence agent of this Air Force crew. And the discussion that they have about what they thought that they saw was a matter of national security. And we need to have a talk about that, gentlemen. And the way that it is handled is incredible. This is 1972. Now, the film came recommended to me. Now I'm recommending it to you. You need to watch it. There is a line that Glenn Ford says to his commanding general at the end of the movie. And remember, again, I'm going to say it. This is 1972. He says, Glenn Ford, this is 50 years ago. Glenn Ford says, and I quote, UFOs, General, say they're real or say that aliens don't exist, but don't tell me that they are not there. Then he continues. He says, forget investigations. Get science involved. Let's find out who or what they are. And I stopped and I thought, man, this is 1972. This is the discussion that we are having today with Congress and the Senate and the Pentagon right now in Washington, D.C. And this film, I mean, prophetic, you know, and how it's dealt with, and some of the how do I want to say the conversation? This isn't like B-movie schlock, and it just really makes you think. Now, I highly recommend it. And when we talk now about who is involved and how this is being handled, and Dave Fravor and everybody else that's involved, Kevin Day, and the crew, what may have gone on behind the scenes, it is handled, I think, at the end of the movie. This is where I'm going. At the end of the movie, there's a disclaimer that this is fictitious, and this is a work of fiction, and any similarities to anything else, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I wonder if this actually happened. So watch The Disappearance of Flight 412, and you've got your homework assignment. Now, when you watch it, it's not restored. It's not in high def. It's none of that. Don't expect that. Just watch the movie. And there you go. And it stars Glenn Ford. It also stars David Soul before Starsky and Hutch. David Soul's really good. He's the pilot. So, okay, there you go. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, we're talking about the Black Knight satellite with Billy Carson. He will be with us right after this short break. Tomorrow night, John Burroughs is here. And again, an amazing week here on the show, but an important week on the show. And then we're going to wrap everything up on Thursday night with open lines with Fader Night. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. On the Game Changer and Unnext Network, Race Hobbs. I am your host. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net.
Introducing the Game Changer blend from River Moon Coffee that delivers a customized blend made specifically for the Fadernauts. If the game is rigged, change the game. It's a bolder cup with some bite. Game Changer is the coffee of choice for those that prefer an organic dark roast that is slightly lighter and milder, but it's still dark. With wild notes of pecans and chocolate, with a rich, balanced, full-bodied cup that is roasted to perfection for a great coffee to start your day, as an after-dinner coffee or anywhere in between. Artisan, small batch, roasted to perfection. USDA certified organic, all River Moon coffee is freshly roasted and packaged in the USA. Just go to rivermooncoffee.com or click on the banners over on our site and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. rivermooncoffee.com.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Do you have an interest in the paranormal? Then you'll love the unxnetwork.com. The X is your streaming audio and video for everything supernatural, strange, and mysterious, like UFOs, Bigfoot, ghosts, and so much more. From hosts like Jimmy Church, Whitley Strieber, Micah Hanks, and Christina Gomez. Visit the UnXNetwork.com show page for a complete list of all the paranormal programs you'll find on the X. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates at KUNXDB. Follow our Facebook group, UnX Network. Find the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, Audible, and Apple Podcast. It's time. It's new. It's the X.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Compendium, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is with us. We're going to be talking about the Black Knight satellite. I can only imagine the disappearance of Flight 412, a film from 1972. And the Amazon executives, getting together for their weekly sales meeting. I don't know what happened, man. Last week, the disappearance of Flight 412 had 100,000. Nobody's watched that film in 50 years. It's great. You guys are going to love it. It's a great film. Billy is with us tonight. Tomorrow night, John Burroughs is here. Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. Billy is the founder of Forbidden Knowledge, the author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. I wrote the foreword, and the expert host for Deep Space on Gaia. His Forbidden Knowledge has millions of followers and subscribers throughout social media. That is not a joke. He's also the founder of Forbidden Knowledge, Inc., and is the best-selling author of Woke Doesn't Mean Broke. And I wrote the foreword to that, too. He is the CEO of First Class Space Agency based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. His space agency is involved in research and development of alternative propulsion systems and zero-point energy devices. He's also the founder of Pantheon Elite Records, a contributor to Thrive Global, and is a registered international journalist. He also just recently, I don't know if you guys know this, he's got a certificate of science with an emphasis on neuroscience at MIT, and he's about to become an attorney. I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black. I've got better news than that, Billy. I've got better news than that, but an attorney. Yeah. Well, at least I know where to go. It'd be 3:00 in the morning. You're going to get that phone call, Billy. Billy.
Yeah.
Billy.
Just call me Esquire.
Yeah, Esquire, ESQ. Here's the deal. Billy just let me know. I'm just going to tell everybody what happened before the show tonight. Now, Billy and I, we talked all week, and we had a really cool conversation earlier today on the phone, and I thought I knew everything about Billy. and so, we're chatting before the show. Billy goes, "Hey, Church, I bought a guitar." I was like, "You did not." I did, man. I got an amp. I got the thingy to plug it into the computer. and then you dropped the other bomb on me. You said, "Man, I'm a lefty, man. I got to play like Hendrix."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what is next? Attorney, brain surgeon, rocket engines, film director, right? Author.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now guitar player.
Yeah. I have a song in distribution already.
I bet you do.
I'm on the Black Knight satellite soundtrack.
Soon to be on Billboard too. So there you go. So all right, I can't wait. I'm going to give Billy guitar lessons. This is going to be.
I can't wait. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah. This is going to be really, really, really cool. Yeah. So now, Billy, I want to start here before we do the deep dive into the Black Knight satellite, and thank you for taking the time to be here tonight because the world knows you and I have got a very busy week coming up in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
I've got shows until Thursday. So do you.
Mm-hmm.
You just came off of a conference weekend.
Yeah.
And, you've earned the right to take a breath. But we've got a very busy week. So thank you for coming in tonight. But before we jump in to the Black Knight satellite, these are some pretty crazy times we are in right now when it comes to the subject of UFOs and what may be in the skies, and this hearing that just went down in Washington, D.C. Last week. Is the world prepared? I mean, we've been asking for this for a long time, but man, if this continues like it is, is it going to be a situation of be careful what you ask for, or is the world ready for disclosure? Because it's here.
Yeah. I think that they really are ready. It's just that we have so many distractions going on right now with all the different sicknesses that keep popping up, which, they're real sicknesses. I mean, how they were created, we don't know exactly, but it just is a big distraction because there's a lot of things going on with health, and people are really concerned about that. And now you have all the, the school shootings and the church shootings and the grocery store shootings, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And so even though this amazing news has come out and been presented by, the military saying, hey, they're here, and some of them almost collided with our craft, our aircraft, but nobody's talking about it because there's so much more stuff going on in the news. It's like big distractions right now.
Now, you were at the Miami Air Show.
Yeah.
Now, and just going to let everybody know, Billy and I, you called me from the air show, right? And you were giving me some of the play-by-play.
Yeah.
Did you see this flyby with this UAP/UFO and this B-52? Were you there for that?
No, I didn't see that. I was in the Fort Lauderdale Air Show. And so I called you from Fort Lauderdale that day, and I guess they probably have a couple because there's a base down there anyway, down in Kendall. But I didn't get to see the B-52 with this UAP flyby. I didn't get to see that.
Okay, so two different air shows.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I was a little confused when I saw it was Miami. I was thinking that you were at that particular air show, but pretty interesting that in your neighborhood. This UAP flyby, right over your house. This is where you live.
Yeah, I know. That's right around the corner. I mean, it's literally 15, 20 minutes away. Pretty amazing. Obviously, we have technology that could be that UAP, or maybe it's something else. It's always that big question mark. Is it theirs or is it ours?
What do you, and so back to are we ready? I'm a little, it's, okay. There was, it was mentioned on the show a couple of times over the last 2 weeks that this may not be extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
That this may be something that has just been living here for a long time, and which dovetails nicely into the Black Knight satellite too, as well. Right. But now it makes me think that some of this research and investigation is leading into another direction about what they're finding out now. And this is my point. You know what would really freak people out? I don't think ET. No, UFO, right? Little green men, of course, right? That's everybody can handle that. Yeah. You tell everybody that there is another race of beings living on this planet right alongside of us, and you don't know about it. Right?
That would be huge. Well, when I was at Major Dame's course for in-person class for remote viewing, this was about 3 years ago. One of the claims that he made during the class was that there are beings living in Antarctica, which is why they have the research facilities down there, and that they come and go as they please. That was his exact quote.
That would be some disturbing news. I mean, even for me, That's kind of crazy, and it would also quite possibly answer a lot of questions. You know, about maybe the Anunnaki or the pyramids or Stonehenge or right. I mean, it would really pile on. Gobekli Tepe, for instance, right?
Yeah.
It would tend to, for those out there that want to say that there has never been an advanced civilization before us, right? In the distant past, and then something like this gets revealed. Holy crap, man!
That could be massive. Well, we know that the inside the Earth, it's not hollow, but there are these gigantic, huge honeycomb openings that go on for miles. Some have giant crystals in them. Some have open caves now, we know, that have their own geological systems with trees and light gets down there. And there's even some have beaches. So there's all these incredible places underneath the surface that, you know, can sustain life in an incredible way. So it's quite possible that a highly technologically advanced race of beings could still be living here right amongst us with advanced technology and cloaking capabilities, and, you know, just to monitor us, just like we monitor animals in the Serengeti plains of Africa. We put these hides up and we put our cameras up and we hide cameras in their dens. They don't even know the cameras are in their dens. And we watch how they take care of their young and grow and how they interact with each other. And I think that's the same thing happening to us.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Oh, why not? But man, that's going to be a reveal that has to be thought out. You just can't drop that bomb on the world. You know, it's one thing, you know, I mean, we expect alien life to be out there in our Milky Way. We expect that. I mean, that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
And so are they visiting us? Yeah, a lot. Okay. All right. We can digest that. I think we understand that. We're smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
But there's some that are living here.
Yeah.
What?
could be a research team that you know, they could trade places every so many years, or maybe even so many millennia, depending on their lifespans. You know, this could be an outpost for research into you know, kind of like astroanthropology. You know, they're here to study humans and society and try to figure out, you know, why we have 20,000 bombs pointed back at our own planet with no escape hatch. I mean, you know,
right.
So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there is going to be a big reveal, man. There's going to be a big reveal, and I applaud it. I'm just wondering what it's going to be and how are they going to handle it? It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Now, let's speaking about this. When I want to ask you how you first heard about the Black Knight satellite.
Yeah.
And before you answer the question, for me, it was always a story that was out there and you could find it in different books. I'm talking about, for me, 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm reading about it. It was interesting. And then the NASA images popped up on the internet. And when the NASA images popped up, this is what I remember. I remember looking at them and going back the next day to NASA's website, and they were gone. And that was a head scratcher for me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Well, after that, I went full on into, as you know, I went full on into the Black Knight satellite. For you, do you remember when you first heard about the Black Knight satellite?
Yeah, definitely. I was researching the space shuttle program and just checking into the technology, looking at the locations and facilities, primarily because I had found out that my grandfather had worked on the first launch tower as an architect. And so that really got me excited about researching the space shuttle program. So I was following everything with the space shuttle program. And then obviously they had captured this object, or it's actually, to me, multiple objects, which we cover in the documentary, and then posted them up on NASA and NASA.gov and labeled them space junk. And I was like, this doesn't look like space junk to me. And that's when I started looking into it, researching it. At that time, very little was put out. It took about maybe almost a year before more information started pouring in. And then I was able to start to see the links between, references to it in the past and so forth. And, but yeah, it was an amazing find, just researching the shuttle missions as they were going up and, just trying to keep tabs on the technology and what we were discovering and where it was going to lead to, and all that good stuff.
Now, and you're right about that. In the mid 90s, the information on the Black Knight satellite was pretty thin.
Yeah.
But it depended on where you went. There wasn't anybody compiling information about the Black Knight satellite and different aspects of it. There was mentions in books. If you were lucky, you got to read some of the stuff that came out in 1960, and some other references that were out there, but it was never in one place. And the stuff that you did get was very short and opinion based, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's what you found, right? And then boom,
it exploded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when it first hit the internet, there weren't that many websites up anyway, and there wasn't that many. Yeah, it was just we were in the infancy, really, of building all this online content and people bringing in their ideas to the internet. But it took about a year because the internet moved fast. But about a year after I saw them on NASA.gov, which they still are there, they just hid them in a certain place. I have the direct links to them now. But they moved them from where they were and put them in this, this place where you got to dig and find them. I found them. But wow, let me tell you something. After about a year, everybody started putting in a little piece of the puzzle. And then eventually I was like, wow, this is an incredible story.
There's another aspect to this. We'll get to the history of it here in just a minute. But astronomers throughout history have been photographing the stars, the skies. That's what they do, right? And different aspects of it. There's a lot of historical record out there of collections of photographic plates of stars and galaxies and things. But nobody's really paid a lot of attention to that. You have to go back and study and look. But there's stuff there.
Yes.
And if you go and you do the diligence and you start looking into this and you have the right set of eyes, you can find stuff. You can find anomalies, and you can certainly see things predating our rocket program and before anything was up in the skies.
Yeah.
And this isn't how do I say this? This isn't rumor. This isn't hyperbole. This isn't people chatting.
Yeah.
This is stuff that is photographed by astronomers with very powerful telescopes that were observing the skies.
Yeah.
And there is stuff there. There
and
is
guess what?
Stuff.
That's before Photoshop.
Before Photoshop.
Right.
Now let's go back. Is historically speaking, when were the first mentions of something orbiting our planet? When did it start to pop up in the historical record?
Well, really, if you want to go all the way back, you have Nikola Tesla, who had claimed to receive some signals from space. He kind of thought they may have been coming from Mars. It seems that these signals may have more likely been coming from the Black Knight satellite, which would have already been in orbit, because we know that by 1953, it had already been detected again by some ham radio operators, and even really, to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure that the space agencies that were trying to work and compete against Russia had detected something, but probably kept it quiet. But it made the newspapers in the 1950s, way before the Time magazine article,
which came out later in around 1960.
1960, yeah.
Now, we'll circle back to Tesla, because that was a pretty seminal event. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
What about in ancient history? If we go further back,
yeah,
Copernicus or Galileo or the Egyptians, the Mayans.
Yeah.
Are there any things in the historical record there about seeing something in orbit?
If you go back to the Sumerian cuneiform tablets, you discover that there's a cylinder scroll that goes along with some cuneiform text where there's a person that is standing on Earth and he's talking to a person that's on Mars, and they have this device in between them that has wings, and they're talking to the device, and then the device is communicating to the other person. This is a famous cylinder scroll. I believe it's at the British Museum, and I'll probably see that in a few weeks when I get to the British Museum. I'm headed there shortly, and I'll probably document it while I'm up there. But so this scroll is important because it's depicting communication via satellite. And now what's interesting about that is it's attributed to, and the ownership of it is attributed to Enlil, the Sumerian god, or the Anunnaki god Enlil. And he claimed to have had the capability of seeing and hearing everything going on Earth all at once.
Now, so back to Tesla. What was interesting there is he was trying to broadcast. He was dealing with radio and building these huge antennas, but he was also listening at the same time. And he started to, and this is in 1890.
Yeah.
He starts to hear what he thinks is a coded message. Now, he said Martians. He thought that it was coming from Mars, but he definitely heard something at a time when there was no radio, no radio broadcast coming from Earth.
Yeah.
And he this made huge headlines that there was communication going on between an extraterrestrial alien race out there and planet Earth. How did the media react to that?
Well, initially it was a shocker, obviously. And they covered the information. They covered the story. I mean, obviously there's an account of it coming out of Nikola Tesla's mouth. One of the things about him was because of his, I guess, the way that he operates and the way that he was, his mannerisms and so forth. A lot of people took him as a joke in a weird kind of way. They kind of scoffed at some of his stuff. And as you know, some of his stuff was with the situation with Thomas Edison. It kind of made him look like he really didn't know what he was talking about, and his stuff was dangerous. So because of the way he was and his mindset and how he operated and how he spoke to people and how he was, it kind of really just got swept under the rug eventually.
Now, 1900 rolls around, 1910, and radio takes off. And around the world were amateur radio operators, people that were experimenting, building their own towers, also listening, trying to communicate and do all of this. And some of them remembered Tesla's words and some of the press releases, and they start listening for signals around the world, and they started to capture some stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, they started capturing these signals, and they were signals that were continuously repeating the same exact code, and which is incredible because that means intelligent design. It's not just some random thing out there. It was repeating a specific code, and they were able to actually map that code, which is incredible.
Well, now let's not get too far ahead of our skis here, because that was pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
And that took many years, and it was decoded a few times, but we'll come back to that. Now, Sputnik didn't launch until, the space race and things between the United States and Russia. That was 1957 and 1958 with Sputnik and Telstar. Yeah. But up until that time, there shouldn't have been anything orbiting planet Earth.
There
correct?
Should have been nothing. Obviously, the Russians beat us to space with the satellite Sputnik. And prior to that, there should have been absolutely nothing up there.
But people were seeing stuff.
They were seeing things and hearing things.
They were seeing things and hearing things. And so, all of these telescopes suddenly there was an object sighted a few times in the early 1950s that was in what appeared to be, and nobody even knew the word, right? A polar orbit. Now, let me see if I can get something round. Hang on. Yeah. Let's grab this alien skull.
There you go.
Okay. So let's say that this is Earth. Okay. And in a general orientation, let's call this north, south, east, and west. Yeah. Okay. Most satellites today are in an orbit in this direction.
Right. Around the equator.
Around the equator. At different points out, it's not all in the same, okay.
Yeah,
but
Lagrange points.
In this direction, some are geosynchronous and some are moving. Okay. Yeah. All right. A polar orbit is in this direction. And now the technology for this, we'll circle back to that. But what was cited in the early 1950s wasn't this, which would have been a big deal anyway. Yeah. But it was something in a polar orbit. And isn't that interesting, especially when we know that the technology for this didn't happen for a very long time. But we had something that was orbiting Earth in a polar orbit.
Yeah. And what's incredible about that, when you look at, for example, Giza, the pyramids of Giza, and the way that the Great Pyramid is constructed, and the way that plateau is actually constructed, the plateau and the temples on the plateau depict the inner planets orbiting the sun, right down to the AU, the astronomical units. In order to do that, you have to have a satellite, number one, because you have to be able to understand the astronomical unit distances. The second thing that's incredible is the fact that the Great Pyramid itself is the average height of the landmass, of the peaks of the landmass on Earth. So you'd have to have a satellite that's orbiting in a polar orbit, scanning swaths of the Earth as it spins on its axis, so that it can then use topography to take all the peaks, count them, and then divide them by the average height to get the average height, then to build the Great Pyramid to the average height of all the peaks on Earth. And then as well as that, the Great Pyramid is located at the center of land mass on Earth, not the center of the Earth, but the center of landmass. Again, you need a polar orbiting satellite to be able to calculate all the landmass on Earth, and then to calculate the point to put a Great Pyramid to be at the center of the landmass. All of this absolutely requires a polar orbit.
Now, let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, Billy Carson. This weekend, we will both be in Detroit for the premiere of his film, The Black Knight Satellite. Links for that, there are a few tickets left, are in the video description box below if you would like to attend and come and hang out with Billy and I. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. We'll be right back more with Billy and the Black Knight Satellite after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, VX.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can right now get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Because you never got that pony you always wanted. Damn it. Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network.
Listen, I know, and you know, that you've always wanted your first crystal skull. Or maybe you're a collector just like me, but you just don't know where to go to find the real thing. Then I met Carolyn Ford over at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com. Carolyn is the guardian of Einstein, one of the most respected ancient crystal skulls in the world. All of her unique skulls have been imprinted sitting with Einstein in his sacred lodge and are carved from the finest gemstone and materials. Imprinting is the process of receiving the ancient wisdom from the master skull or master computer, Einstein, the ancient crystal skull. To see Carolyn's current collection of crystal skulls, just visit her store at EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com or click on the banner over on our site. Don't forget to use the promo code Jimmy at checkout to receive 10% off of your order today. That's promo code Jimmy. Finding your first or next crystal skull is easy. Just visit EinsteinTheCrystalSkull.com.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is here. We're talking about the Black Knight satellite. His film premieres. I got to sneeze. I thought I was over my allergies. Here we go. Oh, man. Oh, Billy. That was right. Live on the air, man. That was a real sneeze. Did I hit the mute button quick enough?
Yeah, you got it. We didn't hear nothing.
Okay, good, man. So, allergy season. Okay, so the Air Force, we've got radar installations all around the world. We're closely tracking what the Soviet Union is doing. We know that we want to launch our satellite. It's a big achievement, who gets this satellite up there first. And we're watching the skies, and the Air Force starts reporting satellites, something up there before Sputnik. And now, while this is going down, Sputnik launches. Now, everybody is looking to the skies, and we see something else at the same time. And we knew that it wasn't ours. Everybody who was watching Sputnik, there's another satellite up there. In 1960, Time magazine covers what is going on and the satellite race. And this was an important article, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. This was a huge article. First of all, for this information to make it into a prestigious magazine like Time magazine, first it gives you an idea that it was very important, or at least they thought it was important. The editor said, hey, look, we got to cover this story. This is not something to just, sweep to the side. And they covered it. And Duncan Lunan is the journalist that wrote it.
And tell us, this is one of the best parts of the movie that premieres this weekend. Tell us about Duncan.
Duncan is a journalist, just a great writer and a researcher. Obviously had the in at Time, and he researched the Black Knight and some military information that he had got, some intel, and wrote about what was up there. It was actually more than one thing up there, one object up there, to be honest with you. But he wrote about the Black Knight, but there was more information that he wanted to write about that he didn't put in the article. Interesting guy. He was able to also decipher some of the codes coming from this thing. And the decoding is what we cover in the movie. It was just incredible.
Now, you chased Duncan down?
Yeah, chased him down. We found him. And nobody had really gotten a chance to do an interview with this guy. I hadn't seen him in any YouTube videos or anything. Found out he was still alive. And I had somebody in the UK go literally knock on his door. Yeah.
And that was now when Billy first approached me, it was a couple of years ago, about doing this film. Back then, and now it's, there's a whole team, and it turned into a big production. But back then it was just Billy and I.
Yeah.
And Billy said, "Man, I chased down Duncan." I said, "You did not." Time Magazine. And I said, "Okay, we've got a film here.
Yeah.
We've got something," and that's a big central part that not only of this film, but it really got me excited to start to collect all of this data, because I've read about Duncan and his research for many years. I had no idea he was still around.
Yeah,
and Billy pulled it off. It's one of the key parts of this film. So now we have Oslo, Norway. There were some recordings that were done in the early part of the 1930, I believe. I have my dates off, but there was that an analysis and data that was there. And then you have Duncan's information that started to come into play. And then there was, throughout all of this is a key point here, is the dating of the Black Knight satellite and potentially how long it may have been in orbit around this planet.
Right.
And there's a lot of information out there, Billy. And so when we talk about this date, which it's an extraordinary number, what did you find out?
Well, it's between 11,000 and 13,000 years old in terms of the date, because it's giving the position of the Boötis constellation, which for whatever reason, but where it was in the sky, according to precession of the equinox, is about, right around the Ice Age. Incredible.
So now we've got a satellite that has been observing, potentially, right? Observing us here for the last 13,000 years. Do I have that correct?
That is correct, which is incredible. And I believe it's so. And that's why I really felt like we had to do this documentary to bring this information to the people.
Now, so once you start to find out this stuff, we'll get to Duncan and the translation and stuff, which is fully covered in the film. We don't have enough time tonight to go through all of that. But now you start to reach out to other researchers for the film and to get their take on the Black Knight satellite and communication and what this could actually mean. What did you start to find out from these different researchers with the historical significance of this communication?
Yeah. What was interesting throughout this research and investigation and tapping into these other researchers who didn't really weren't big time into the Black Knight, I was just asking them specific things about their opinions on it, obviously, but also what historical records could point potentially to something like this. And what we all came to realize is that there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle between some of the researchers in ancient civilizations, some of the astrophysicists, some of the quantum physicists, some of the spiritual people from Native Americans and yourself. And all of a sudden, this thing just started coming together, and all of the leads kept pointing to this thing in the sky, which was incredible. It was almost like a learning journey, building this documentary and having all these epiphanies leading up to the crescendo that this object could be real and exactly what we think it is.
Now, let's talk about the Boötis constellation. How did this start to come into play?
Well, the deciphering of the signal coming from this object, it creates a constellation. If you map it on a grid, it mimics the constellation of Boötis. So it's giving you, it's almost like a star map. Like, hey, this is where I'm from, guys, or this is where my information is being transmitted to as I record you guys, whatever you're doing on the planet. And what's interesting, so when I found that out, I was like, that's pretty interesting. Let me see if there's anything in the ancient tablets about Boötis, right? Let me check it. Well, guess what? According to the Babylonian, Sumerian, and cuneiform tablets, the Boötis constellation is attributed to ownership of Enlil, the same Anunnaki god that was known to have an all-seeing eye. The Eye of Sauron, which is in the in that Lord of the Rings movie.
The translation had very specific points in it. It wasn't loose. It wasn't something that you could just go, okay, well, I think they're saying this, right? Where you got to read between the lines a little bit. But no, that wasn't the case with this translation, was it?
No. It was very specific. It was repeatable. And that's why I want people to see this, because I want their minds to go poof. It's really going to blow them away when they get a chance to see this thing.
The reason why it appears to state that we've been here for a long time. This is where we have. This is where we come from, and we are here observing you.
Yeah, they're here. They're the watchers, the original watchers. And what's interesting to me is that we do the same thing. We do the same thing with wildlife on this planet. We hide and watch. And so why wouldn't a more advanced civilization, who maybe even seeded us on this planet, leave something behind to watch us, to see what's going to happen, and maybe even to see how we develop technologically? Are we going to eventually keep these nukes on the planet, or are we going to try to take these nukes and even more advanced weapons into space and then become a threat to whoever's out there? So it could be also a security system as well.
The translation that Duncan originally did, and I'm going to say 1974. Does that feel right? 1974.
I think that was about right. Yeah.
Yeah. He presented his findings to the world, and I think that there was a pretty positive reaction to it. But it also died away fairly quickly too, as well. Yeah. And I think that it went after the original sensation, but that the press started to let this go. And if we start to look at what we know today, the last ice age, the significance of 12,000 years ago. Certainly, we have Göbekli Tepe around that time.
Yeah.
Orion, the constellation of Leo, and some of the other things that we have found out since then. These timelines seem to constantly point back to this specific date that Duncan and this translation had no idea about in 1974, did he?
That's the thing. They had no clue of all these other alignments with this date. When in America, if you have enough circumstantial evidence on somebody, you can convict them of a crime. Okay. This is enough circumstantial evidence to say, hey, this is a significant object. This thing is real. It's there. And for Duncan to get this signal and come up with this date, and others to come up with this same date, and then all these other ancient megaliths to come up with this date, it's mind-blowing.
Now, do you think that there was an attempt to, because Duncan at one point was, highly regarded, and then he comes up with this translation, and now the press wanted to call him an amateur, and he wasn't a serious researcher, and they took an about face at Duncan, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Same thing that happened earlier, with Tesla. Eventually, they picked it up. It was sensational. Then all of a sudden, it's like somebody contacted them and say, "Hey, put this away," and it just got swept under the rug. They made him look a little crazy or a little unprofessional, and then it just faded into the darkness.
Now, how does this this translation? I know you mentioned Enlil, but how does this translation fit into not only the Anunnaki, but Egypt and other historical places around the world?
Well, if you look at in Egypt, look at the Great Sphinx. I mean, Robert Schoch tends to think that the Great Sphinx is around 13,000 years old, even though I believe that it's older. If you go back 2 more precessional periods, it may be 36,000, but that's one date there coming out. You look at the, you look at Göbekli Tepe, like you mentioned. All of a sudden, we know that this thing was now the oldest dated site we have on the planet, and things keep getting older and older. But we know that right now, that's around that time frame, that period. And then also, if you look at the Moai on Easter Island, that's also pointing to that same time period. And so, it's really, really close, like right after the Ice Age. So all of a sudden, all these things are just lining up. In the Sumerian tablets, you realize that a lot of these tablets are rewritten from a previous time. And so, even though you're talking about 8,000-year-old tablets, well, those are just rewritten from previous dates. And they're already mentioning that this guy had the capability of seeing what was going on the planet at all times. He not only seeing, but also hearing, which is pretty interesting. So he had some type of device that gave him the capability of seeing and hearing everything and monitoring everything on the planet, which would have to be a satellite in a polar orbit, because that's the only way you can do that. I don't believe in the types of magic that people tend to want to believe. I believe it was technology. And a lot of the other records in India with the Mahabharata and some of the technology that they talk about also seem to also point to this same time period.
The ability to communicate with UFOs and UAPs is something that is surfacing more and more with the UAP Task Force report, the line of questioning that just went down at the UFO hearing, and talking about specific frequencies and communication with UAP.
Yeah.
Do you think that we are in communication with UAP and that we have been communicating with the Black Knight satellite all along?
I definitely believe so. I think that they've been trying to figure out what this thing is there for, what it's going to do. Is it a danger to us? If they move in too close, will it go into defense mode? Will it signal some type of alarm to wherever the signal goes and bring on some space military force or whatever? So I believe that they're really monitoring it and also transmitting back frequencies to it, trying to figure out what makes it tick and if they can get a response back from it, or maybe have some type of two-way communication, because that only makes sense.
Now, I want to go back to the significance of this polar orbit. When it was first detected in the early 1950s, and again, predating Sputnik and Telstar from the United States, this technology was something that didn't happen until the launch of Tyros, which was in April of 1960. And so now we get this, it was, some type of meteorological television camera satellite in this polar orbit. While it's up there, we're monitoring it. We're seeing a second satellite in polar orbit when we know that we've just launched the first one, and we're tracking it. And now this confirmation comes out that there is indeed a second satellite that is following Tyros, which was the television infrared observation satellite. And now we're tracking a second satellite in our polar orbit.
Yeah. This is all well documented too. So it's not like this is pseudoscience or we're reaching or conspiracies. This is well documented, confirmed information. And it's just been sitting there, really just waiting for people to reopen it, rediscover it, talk about it like we're doing in the documentary, and bring it back to the forefront, because there's a lot of questions that we have. Why has this thing been ignored? Why has it been, swept under the rug? How come we haven't been, told that this is the greatest discovery in mankind in modern times?
Right.
We're just sitting there right above our heads. We're looking for exoplanets, and what we need to find is right above our heads.
And Duncan Lunan started writing about this in 1960, again, before there was anything in a polar orbit.
Yeah.
How is he today? When he looks back at history and how he's represented, how is he today with all of this?
He was a little concerned about obviously doing the interview. He had never really spoken to anybody. We won him over, and he decided and agreed to it. He looks back on it, and he wishes that it went a little differently and that he could have put out more information about what he knew. I guess he had a lot more intel than he wrote about. But we were so happy that he was willing to share some information with us for the documentary.
And again, the importance of a polar orbit is mapping.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the Black Knight satellite is in a polar orbit, then it is more about collecting data and observation and mapping this planet than it is of anything else. And it will be able to see cities get constructed over millennia, the development of the human race and the advances that we are making with technology. And all of this apparently is getting reported back to Boda's star system.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, think about it. It's collecting data on all of the wars, all the ancient war, what we would call ancient wars now, right? All of the industrial age, Renaissance. I mean, technological advancements, military advancements, and cities being constructed and built up, coming out of the dust and the mud. And in the last 100 years, we've gone from the horse, carriage, and buggy to putting remote control cars on Mars. So it's really got a lot of data now. And what's interesting is Michio Kaku and some other theoretical physicists were looking at the Bowditch constellation, and they said that there's a void there. There's an empty space that shouldn't be there. It doesn't even appear to be dust in that space. And so the way that light is bending around that space in the constellation, these astrophysicists and theoretical physicists were hypothesizing that it was a cloaked advanced civilization. I mean, the story just keeps getting greater and greater.
Now, is there a connection? I want to take this a lot deeper when we come back after the break. But is there a connection with possible communication and channeling with different established civilizations on this planet, and that has been going on for a long time? And could it have originated from the Black Knight satellite?
Very good question. I think so. You look at the situation with the Nazis when they had that. What was the name of that club that they had? They were channeling information to build these craft.
Vril.
The Vril Society. I had hypothesized that the Vril could have been getting this information directly from the Black Knight. We know right now that it's possible to focus a beam from space on a person or on a group of people and put voices in their heads. We can do that now. It's technologically proven that we have that technology. It's not even a mystery or a question. Could it have been that this Black Knight in some way had been transmitting the instructions on building these craft to the Vril Society, to those Maria Orsich, I believe her name was, to spill out the beans on how to create some of these craft that Hitler was working on?
And what about other channelers? And not only in a modern sense, but there has been communication with angels, that has gone on for thousands of years, and to gods. And if the Black Knight satellite has been up there for 13,000 years, potentially beaming down information, it could actually have a scientific answer and maybe not something as spiritual or supernatural.
It's possible, because imagine if you are these Anunnaki people, they called themselves the Ordainers of Destiny. Some of them did. They're the ones that were high ranking, and they would actually try to create realities by using influence, technology, putting people in positions of power, taking out people who they didn't want to see in power, and nudging people and nudging humanity in different directions. Could this technology be used by them in order to, transmit information to people, have them think they're talking to God or angels, to make them get them to do certain things, and nudge them in a specific direction to create different realities on this planet? It's very possible.
Now, is the Black Knight satellite still there?
I believe it's still there. I really do. I believe some think it may not be there anymore. Some think it may have been blown up. I don't know. I don't think that blowing it up would be a good idea, because you don't know what self-defense mechanism there could be. You don't know if it's going to transmit the signal that it's being attacked, and then all of a sudden here come the cavalry. The smartest thing to do would be just to monitor it and maybe try to communicate, but not to try to actually intercept it or touch it or shoot at it. Or I wouldn't even think about doing something like that.
Yeah, well, and the reason why I think that this is so important is that would be the moment that communication would go back to Bo Otis and it's okay, they're in space now.
Yeah.
Right. It's no longer covered wagons. They are up here checking us out. Mm-hmm. The human race has left the planet. They are now spacefaring. Mm-hmm. And that would be a key marker, like a buoy in out to sea, a key marker in the advancement of us here.
Yeah.
And they would definitely mark that. And if we did anything else like shoot first, they would also know that, right?
They would know, because they have the capability of faster than light communication. They're not sending a signal on a radio wave waiting for it to travel at the speed of light to reach Boetis, which would take thousands of years. What they're doing is they're using quantum entanglement, and they're transmitting the information from the Black Knight straight to their home receiver instantaneously. So even shooting something at it wouldn't be able to blow it up before the transmission went out.
Let's take our break right here. Our guest tonight, the one and only Billy Carson. We are talking about his new film. We're talking about the Black Knight satellite. The film premieres this Sunday. I'll be in Detroit for the red carpet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poran Key, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org. Do you want to be an official Fade or not? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Badernauts, when you think about the future of our country and where we're headed, do you wonder about the food supply? I do. Disruptions in the food supply chain could be disastrous, and they usually occur with little warning. That's why the smartest thing you can do today is to stockpile emergency food, water, and other essentials. I personally recommend My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, serving millions of customers for more than a decade. In fact, they're the only source my family trusts for our preparedness plan. You should too. Right now, save 20% off a full 4-week supply of delicious meals that provide 2,000 calories a day. Saving 20% helps too, doesn't it? Especially now. So go to preparewithjimmy.com and get ready. That's preparewithjimmy.com. There's no time to lose. Do it now.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is here. Forbidden Knowledge. ForbiddenKnowledge.com, ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. About to go public, by the way. Yeah, absolutely incredible. But not before Billy masters the guitar. That's so right. There's a timeline here. I can't believe it, man. Billy just texted me a picture. Yeah, man, that's sweet. I got one of those. I got one right there.
There you go. Boom.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, nice choice. My mind is blown with that. Okay, now I want to. I'm going to read the translation from Duncan.
Okay,
and I want everybody to pay close attention to this. In the movie, there's a huge, very in-depth analysis of this decoded message. It was first recorded in Oslo, in Norway. It's Norwegian, in 1920, and was overlooked. Mm-hmm. But this is the thing that I talk about a lot, and especially throughout history. Mm-hmm. There are amateur astronomers, there are amateur radio operators and things around this planet that, you know what, when an asteroid is approaching Earth, professional astronomers don't catch it first. Right?
Yeah,
it's the amateur astronomers.
That's right.
It's the way that this happens, and this happened in 1920, and this recording was there, and it was just like overlooked. Well, Duncan goes back and he picks it up. He's doing his research into the Black Knight satellite and what it could be, and takes a look at this message once again from Norway, from Oslo, And so this is it. This is the translation. Quote, start here. Our home is Upsilon Boötis, which is a double star. It's a key thing. We live on the sixth planet of 7, coming from the sun, which is the larger of the 2. Our 6th planet has 1 moon. Our 4th planet has 3. Our 1st and 3rd planets each have 1. Our probe is in the position of Arcturus, known in our maps. End quote. That's holy crap stuff right there.
Yeah, that's massive. That is absolutely incredible. Anybody who doesn't find that amazing, they're totally asleep. They're in a coma.
Well, okay. There's so much to unpack here, but the significance of Upsilon is a big deal. But a binary star system. Now we're talking about this original transmission came in 1920. In 1974, when Duncan broke this down, binary star systems weren't in part of the conversation.
No, we didn't find out about those till later.
Yeah, till much later. And the significance of that is not only like with Zeta Reticuli and Betty and Barney Hill, a binary star system, or anyway, that research today suggests that binary star systems are actually common.
Yes.
More common than our star system here, which has 1 sun. But now it may be that we actually have 2, and there may be a second star out there. There's a lot of research right now that is starting to support this more and more. But in 1974, this wasn't a part of the conversation, was it?
No, it wasn't even close to being a part of the conversation. We didn't find out about binary star systems in terms of like how many there were and how normal it was until the WISE telescope went out by NASA. And that's when they said, holy crap, they were looking for brown dwarfs. And all of a sudden they found all these binary star systems. And they were like, wait a minute, this is common. And now they believe there's a binary. We're in a binary. They believe that our sun is orbiting another star. And this can be proven by precession of the equinoxes. Well, precession tends to speed up and then all of a sudden have this slowing back down again. And what that means is our sun is actually orbiting something and creating and getting this breakaway speed as it orbits another star. And it's hypothesized that where we're orbiting is a brown dwarf, which would be in perfect alignment with the ancient Sumerian tablets, which talk about the fact that there was another object out there orbiting our sun. Gravitationally, we know that something captured our solar system captured something, because we know that Uranus tilted on its side. Something came through here huge and just tilted it. We know that Saturn and I think it was Saturn and Neptune switched places in orbit, and so we had all these crazy things going on, which point to something huge coming through our solar system. So we then after maybe it regained some type of a different orbit over time, a more stabilized orbit. Now some of the astronomers are talking about an object that they believe is orbiting our sun every 4,200 years, way out beyond the orbit of Pluto, which is probably this brown dwarf, and we're in a binary star system.
Now, the other part to this in Duncan's research that started to be revealed, that possibly this probe originated at the L5 Lagrange point, and which is the orbit of our moon.
Yeah, it's again, like slightly up on the not at the equator perfectly, but just slightly ever so slightly up.
Why? And did it move from the L5 point to the orbit that it's in now, in the polar orbit? Is that what Duncan is theorized?
Yeah, it made some type of intelligent course correction. It went from one orbit to another, which which have to be intelligence. I don't know any ice particles that can make those kind of changes.
And if this is again, this is under intelligent control, then there isn't another way. This stuff doesn't happen naturally, does it?
No, it's either got AI technology, programming code, or a combination of instructions coming from afar and AI. But this thing changes course on its own.
Now, right after this alien message was translated, once again, it got picked up by Time Magazine. And the CBS Evening News even covered this. We've got an alien message from space. And then the story got squashed.
Yeah.
Do you think, before I go to the obvious, what would be the reason for squashing this when we're trying to find communication and radio signals from space?
Yeah. Well, the military powers that be, the people who have even oversight above the president, they don't want this information out. They don't want us to know that there's something out there that's not ours, that's orbiting the planet, that could be spying on us. They can't afford to have be in the position where there's something more technologically advanced than us, and which would mean that how could we even stop it if it decided to attack? Is it a threat to national security or global security and all these other big question marks? Also, could there be some civilian group that tries to communicate with it, or maybe even launch something to hit it, or there's all kind of crazy things that can possibly happen. So what they decided to do is keep it quiet, or just kind of make it sound like it was another weather balloon up there.
Now, that was 1973, 1974. I want to say that I originally heard about this like In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy, or one of those TV shows in the 1970s. When I first heard about this alien message, maybe it was the CBS News. But today, here we are talking about Tic Tacs and objects in our sky, where in 1973, 1974, the question about this was not taken seriously, even though it was covered in the media. It was squashed. Where now today our government is trying to talk about this.
Yeah.
Why do you think there's been this sudden turnaround when the Black Knight satellite could be the original Tic Tac?
I know, right? Well, they've got to get ahead. A couple of reasons. They got to get ahead of the story, because we have too much technology now in the hands of civilians. I went UFO hunting with you one time in Isetti Ranch in Washington State, and the technology you had can easily spot UFOs in the skies.
Right.
And so, and record it and take photos of it. So what's happening is we're getting a lot of technology that we can go out here and we can capture this stuff, and we can be like, hey, look what we got. We got better images than the government has. And so they got to get ahead of the story. Plus, also, they have the Space Force now. Now they have a reason to say we diverted $17 trillion to this project. It won't be, a hidden black budget project, or we forgot where the money went, like they used to say, back in the in the Bush and Reagan eras and all that. Now they're going to just say, hey, we sent that money to the Space Force. So because we believe that these UAPs are a threat to national security and blah, 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 blah. And we're going to take this money. They're going to take that money and develop, all different types of top secret technologies with it that we'll never know it exists, maybe for decades upon decades later. But they have a reason now to say that they need the money, and they will take that money.
Yeah, with the world of astronomy, as information, things are getting cataloged. We're starting to understand the positions and the age of not only the Milky Way but the universe, and the way things are expanding. And computers are now in play. And Duncan, this was for me a sad part about this story, because he was forced to retract his statements.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going, to the mid 70s, but then technology starts to present itself in positional astronomy, and he went back and looked at it, and then it turned out that all of the modern computer programs and the observations of the universe and the Milky Way with positional astronomy. Suddenly, it supported the original translation. And so he said, look, I know I flip-flopped on this, but now information supports everything that I translated back in 1973, and I now stand by this translation.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have to, because, more credible information comes out to support what you've discovered. I can see how you can kind of maybe even question it, because it's so incredible. It's almost mind-blowing and inconceivable. But then once you have more modern, newer technology to come up and back up exactly what you had stated, we now can see the stars, we can see the constellations, we have the Hubble telescope, we have all this technology up there, all these different satellite systems, really colluding to get us all the information we want to ever know about the stars and our galaxy and our place in it. And it just perfectly aligned with what his original translation was. And so he's standing firm on that. And I do really believe that, there's a civilization out there. Now, it could not be for malice. It might be maybe for protection. They could be, it could be a federation out there that's monitoring us and waiting for us to achieve faster than light travel before they say, hey, we got to go check them out. Now they're ready for us to talk to them. There's all kind of reasons that it could possibly be. It doesn't always have to be malice, but it's just really interesting, that that there's so much ancient stuff supporting this.
It wouldn't surprise me, with all of the fast radio bursts and the conversation about that and detection and SETI, with what is going on today, that radio signal coming from Upsilon wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm. No, it wouldn't surprise me either. I really think that there's been enough preparation for mankind. Just even with the very, very light disclosure coming out of the Pentagon and the military, that they'd actually be ready for it. I think it'd be a relief to know something else was going on other than sicknesses. To be honest with you, it'd be a relief.
And with, do you think that the Black Knight satellite will be part of a discussion in future UFO hearings on Capitol Hill?
I'm hoping that after this documentary comes out, we bring more attention back to it, and that people will go back and reevaluate it with new eyes and new ears, and then bring this back up maybe in the next congressional hearing, talk about this topic, talk about this object that potentially could still be up there, and address it, on a national stage or international stage.
What do you think that the Air Force knows more about, including NASA? But let's talk about the Air Force, because that was, some of the first reports about the Black Knight satellite came in from them. Do you think the Air Force knows exactly what is going on with the Black Knight satellite and has not talked about it after 1960?
At the highest levels, yes. At the lower ranks, no, because the Air Force is compartmentalized. And so once the information gets marked top secret and gets redacted, that's it. Only the people with that clearance level can even know it exists.
Now, we've got Russia, we've got China, we've got the United Kingdom, we've got Israel. I can continue on. Australia, that have all been looking to the skies from the space race forward. Certainly that they have been collecting data on the Black Knight satellite all along.
Yeah, they have been collecting data. They have been saving data, storing it, and monitoring it as well to figure out, hey, is this going to be a threat to us too? Or what is this thing up here? Is it American? What is this thing? So all the big governments that have money and budgets are looking at this thing and trying to see exactly what it could be and what it means for them. And also, is there any technology that they can reverse engineer from this thing?
But now let's talk about those original NASA photographs. Do you think that those actually represent the Black Knight satellite?
I think that one of them does. But hold on one second, Jimmy. I have a guest in the house, and I think they just flipped one of the switches that controls my laptop battery.
What?
Yeah, my battery is going down, and there's a switch that controls it where I'm sitting. I'm sitting in a different part of the house. I got to grab that real quick.
Okay, Billy, go and grab that.
I'm sorry. This is a major blunder but I got to get this thing before it goes off.
Okay. Oh man, the reason why I want Billy's opinion on this is that the original I think there was like 9 photographs that NASA put up on their website that caught everybody's attention. Do they actually represent the Black Knight satellite? Some have said it's a mattress, it's a space blanket. We've had these different explanations for it. But what did happen? Oh, okay, hold on. Billy's back. But what did happen, Billy, is they did pull the images down off of the website. Yeah. There were a couple of images that were completely different. Mm-hmm. And now the one thing that these images did do was they caused this investigation that has gone on with the UFO community and brought this subject right forward, front and center. Yeah. They probably shouldn't have pulled those images down. Mm-hmm. Now, which image do you think is the Black Knight satellite?
There's one image which is actually on the cover of the movie, the poster for the Black Knight. It's on our promos and all that. It's right above the Earth.
Okay, hold on for a second. Hold on. Oh yeah, keep going. Let me pull that image up.
Yeah, the other one, there's one that is a trunnion pin cover, potentially, which is what they're claiming is the Black Knight, but it's not. The trunnion pin cover isn't even more than 8 by 10 feet or whatever. So we debunked that, and we do a very good job of debunking their debunking in the documentary, showing what the images are and what those things could be and what the size comparisons are, what the trunnion pin is. We show that, as well as what the actual real Black Knight is. And so there's a few images, 4 different images out there, and one of them is the Black Knight, and we feel we've identified it.
I'm looking for the cover image. Let me pull this up. But the cover image is from NASA.
Yeah, directly from NASA.gov. The link, we still have the link to it and everything. It's hidden on their server, but if you have the direct link, which we have, you can still get to the HD images. We have them.
Let's see here. I'm going to pull this up. I'm sorry, everybody. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know that this was the image that you're talking about. Okay, so the Black Knight film, there is the one. Let me see if this
if you go to IMDb, you can probably look at the
okay, hang on for a second. Hang on. Let me make sure I have this muted. I don't want this to Man, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not more prepared than this. See, I have. Okay, got it. Okay. All right. I'm just going to pop this right in here. Okay, I've got it. Everybody stay patient. I'm getting close. I'm getting close. And yes, I've got it here. So let me pull this up. I'm going to move this over. I have the capability, everybody, to do this. And
that sounds like a $6 million man.
Yeah. So here we go. All right.
Let's go.
Which is this. Now, I'm pulling it up here.
Yeah.
Is it this?
Yep, that object right to the side of my head. There you go. And that's it. That's the actual image. That's not computer generated. That's the actual anomaly. That is it right there.
And this is on NASA's website.
Oh yeah, we have the direct source links to it still. It's still there. It's listed under space junk.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they've labeled it now.
Yeah. I'm very rarely at a loss for words.
Yeah. I think it's massive. It's super massive.
I have never seen this image before.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got a really good one inside a doc. You're going to people are going to flip when they see it. Yeah, a really, really, really clear one.
Wow. Wow, look at that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're calling that junk.
It definitely ain't no rock.
It looks like a little telecommunication radar dome.
Yeah.
Right? Radio antenna.
Yep.
It's symmetrical. It looks like the front of a battleship.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm wondering what's on the other side.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, Billy, well done.
Thank you. Yeah. And that source link can be provided. We're going to talk about this when we have our little Q&A right before the right after the documentary. So there's source links, there's everything. I mean, it's it's the real deal.
Check this comment out. Yeah.
That's a great one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That is that's pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible. Okay, let's take our break right here. Hold on, Billy just sent me another. Oh, I found it.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Thank you. Did you get your battery sussed out? Are we okay?
Yeah, I got it. It was just right. I couldn't. It was out of my reach. I had to get up to get it. I plugged it right in.
Okay, so we're good to go.
Yep.
And you actually threw your house guest under the bus.
Well, there's a switch.
Just said you didn't plug in your laptop. You didn't have to throw.
I didn't have to, but there's a switch right there. So with that switch right there, you have to get up and go around and switch it back on. Yeah. The whole. It's nighttime. It's 11. It's midnight now. Everybody shut down everything. It was like, oh, I'm closing down, blah blah, and then walked away. And it's like, okay, I got enough battery in here. But then I saw it going, so I had to go hit that switch.
Our guest tonight, Billy Carson. We're talking about the Black Knight satellite. Now, we've got the links up. If you want to come and hang out with Billy and I this Sunday in Detroit, we've got the links there. There are some tickets available. So many people, they complain that Billy and I are only doing stuff on the West Coast, that we ignore the rest. Well, here's your opportunity to come and hang out with Billy and I and take some pictures with us on the red carpet, right? Billy, you'll let somebody, take a picture with you.
I took a picture with 1,000 people this weekend, so I could take a picture with you.
Man. That was an impressive picture. Let's take our break. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is with us. We're talking about the Black Knight satellite. The film premieres this Sunday. I'll be right back. More with Billy after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, the X.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
This is the only way forward.
This is Fade to Black. Make contact.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and this year, June 18th, 2022, the Disclosure Fest Foundation presents the Mass Meditation Initiative. It's Saturday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., one day only at the Los Angeles State Historic Park in downtown Los Angeles, California, right next to Chinatown. I'm hosting the event again this year with music performances by Trevor Hall, The Desert Dwellers, Poranki, and many, many more on 4 separate stages. There's 16 stages in total, over 30 acres in downtown Los Angeles, with vendors and tents and presentations and workshops with Billy Carson, Adam Apollo, Lori Spagna, Laura Eisenhower, Brad Olson, David Palmer, and many, many more. It's all simple to do. Just go to disclosurefest.org for all of your tickets, information, and a full schedule of the day's events. Again, disclosurefest.org.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony. Damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Billy Carson. Huge week here on Fade to Black. Last night, Ross Kofar. Tonight, Billy Carson, Black Knight Satellite. Tomorrow night, John Burroughs is going to be here. And then, of course, Thursday night, we'll wrap up the week with Fader Night. But what I wanted to ask you, Billy, that which I find really interesting, something that I don't think any of us expected, but how important social media, people like yourself, and programs like this have played for disclosure and what is going on right now. You have always focused on the internet, your network, broadcasting, shows, documentaries, and hosting. And you and I have done many events together, live on the internet. And how important that the internet and social media has been for disclosure. It's pretty incredible.
Oh, it's been massive. Without the internet and the social media platforms and the blogs and the websites, I can say, it probably wouldn't be nowhere near what it is right now. It's really allowed us to collaborate, come together from everywhere on the planet simultaneously, and bring forward information about space anomalies, to talk about UFOs, now UAPs and UFOs, phenomena, paranormal activity, all different incredible topics that would have been really, really hard to collaborate on without the internet, social media. Now we can share information around the world instantaneously, and literally millions of people can see it within just a few hours. So it's really been a huge, huge, incredible thing for us, because I don't think they really meant for it to do what it's doing. They meant for us to just keep posting pictures of cats and plates of food, and we turn around and turned it into a disclosure fest.
The tweet that came out from Representative Andre Carson out of Indiana about the UFO hearing, that was done on Twitter. Right, that was a tweet talking about the most significant hearing in the last 50 years, that once again UFOs are going to be discussed on Capitol Hill, and this hearing is important. That happened in social media from an elected official, right? Representative Andre Carson makes that announcement that way, not on C-SPAN.
No.
Right? He chose to do it that way, and it got a lot of attention, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. It got a lot of attention, thousands of likes and shares. And the thing about it is he understood that social media is actually quicker, faster, more powerful than the mainstream media. And you don't have to wait for somebody to approve you and tell you what you can and can't say and all this other kind of stuff. You can just put your thought out there and let it ride. Let it ride the internet wave.
I've been talking about the UFO hearing for the last couple of weeks since it happened, and I have scheduled all of my guests around this very important subject. And the hearing itself what do you think the impact? I'm talking about while the hearing was going on. Mm-hmm. What do you think the impact was? We'll talk about what has happened since then.
Yeah.
But what caught your attention?
The thing that caught my attention the most was the fact that pilots had admitted that they almost had collisions with these UAPs.
Yes. I actually went back and watched some of the replays on that today.
Yeah.
That's very interesting that you brought that up, that there was 11 near misses.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, Mike. Wow. So they believe that these objects are solid material. They're not ethereal or multidimensional. No, these things are in the third dimension and potentially have mass.
The 11 near misses, and I can't pronounce the representative's name.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
No, it's a tough one to pronounce. But he asked if there was any contact. Mm-hmm. And Scott Bray answered, well, not that I'm aware of, which it made me, when I went back and watched the replay, he paused.
Yeah.
He paused before he answered, like, yeah, there might have been a couple, but I can't talk about that right now. Right. So not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, man.
Very interesting.
11,
very interesting.
11 near misses. What did you was there enough talk about ET and extraterrestrials, which it was brought up many times during the conference, during the hearing? Was it enough? Do you think that the public is now understanding more about the phenomenon?
I think it was kind of light, but there could have been more. But it was enough for people now that they can't call people like you and I, crazy, or that we're wearing tinfoil hats anymore, because the government that they know, love, and trust, because they believe everything what the government says, is now saying that these things are real and that these aliens are potentially real, and they even have communication and so forth. So all of a sudden, it's like, hey guys, kiss your local conspiracy theorist on the cheek, because we've been telling you the truth the whole time.
The Timber Chet, after the conference, now he's a representative, but he wasn't part of the committee, and he was an audience member.
Yeah.
After the conference, he blew up in front of the cameras, and he said, I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but he said he's very angry, and he called the hearing a sham, and he said that this is an ongoing cover-up and deception by our U.S. government, and has been hiding this from the people, and that the cover-up has to end. That was pretty dramatic from an elected official. To just point right back at the government, saying that there was a cover-up going on and it has to end. What did you make of his comments?
He's getting fed up, like a lot of people are getting fed up. There's people in politics in different high-ranking positions that just can't get the clearance that they want to get. And at some point, we have to realize that it's not the government that's covering this stuff up. It's the military-industrial complex, which operates above government oversight. And so what we're doing is we're in a situation where the people that we put in power to work for us, who have us thinking that we work for them and that they own us, have somebody above them that they've put in power that they can't now heat check. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know how we can take back our power, but we've given our power away to these clandestine operations that have no oversight, and at some point that has to come to an end. Somebody's got to pull the plug on these things so the world can advance and we can live up to our true potential.
Well, that's exactly the point. I think that these committees, not only in the House of Representatives, but the Senate Intelligence Committee, that they're trying to ask questions, they're trying to get information, and they're getting stonewalled.
Yeah, man.
It's like pulling teeth, and they can't get the information. It's the frustration that the UFO community has been screaming about for years, and now senators and congressmen and representatives are now enjoying that same frustration. They know what it's like when you're trying to get information about this subject, which is what is flying in our skies? What are these UFOs doing here?
Yeah.
And where do they come from? What do you know? And nobody wants to give up the information. Now they know what you and I and the rest of us have been going through, right?
Yeah. Welcome to the club. They now know exactly the frustration. And the frustration will get you angry. It'll get you really pissed off because it's like, why not, why the secrecy? Why are you guys covering this up to this extent? Yes, there's national security issues and things like that, but there's a certain amount of information you can divulge that will let people know, kind of what's going on, but still keep us, draw a line in the sand and say, we can't let you cross this line because that's too much information. But some confirmation, and look, I think the population, especially the Americans, I'll be very forgiving. Say, look, we don't really know anything about these beings. We don't know if they're a threat or not a threat. We'd like to be prepared if they are a threat. And so we're calling on you for your support. We'd like your support to say, look, we want to build a planetary defense system. We don't want to use it unless we really have to, but we need to know a little bit more about them. Just something like that. Even something like that, the people would fall right in line. All this crazy secrecy and lies and deception that they're doing, it's just ridiculous.
The way that it is being handled, where suddenly, if you want to make it a national security issue, where there may be technology from China or Russia, and they've made some kind of advancement, that's one thing, but that's only a very small part of the phenomena. Yeah. There's everything else that is going on here. And that's what we need to talk about. Why would that be a national security issue? I think that is something that everybody on this planet needs to be aware of. And I think these officials now are starting to realize exactly that point.
Yeah. I mean, I remember Bill Clinton tried to get information on these UFOs. He couldn't get it. Podesta tried to get information.
Barack Obama,
Podesta, all of them. They couldn't get the information. They got some glimpses, but they couldn't get as deep as they wanted to get. And so, like I said, man, we're kind of in a pickle because we've given too much power to these special units that, man, they do whatever the heck they want to do. I mean, above even what the president knows. I mean, I don't think that's a good idea. I think they have too much power, and their main focus is always on weaponizing technology. So all they're focused on is how can we capture one of these things and turn it into a weapon? How can we take advantage of one of these craft and this technology, one of these beings, and maybe figure out how they work, how they operate, where they come from. Maybe there's more technology there and weapons we can steal. I mean, these people are just they're narcissistic psychopaths, in my opinion. And the fact that they are literally controlling and running what happens on this planet behind closed doors with no oversight, that's really what we need to be scared of, not the aliens.
You're right about that. If I was a fly on a wall, and the conversation that I would probably hear when the United States military says to Northrop Grumman, right, Lockheed,
yeah,
okay, here's an alien spacecraft. The first thought is, how can we turn this into a weapon?
Exactly.
How can we monetize this? That's the first train of thought, isn't it? I would, and last night Ross Coulthard said if there was one question that he would have these representatives ask, it's a direct one. Is there alien technology in the hands of private corporations?
Yeah.
Right now. Is there? Yeah. Isn't that what's on everybody's mind? That's the question that needs to be asked, right?
I think so, and I think that's the big reason why they went private, to keep it out of our prying eyes and ears. So we can't do a Freedom of Information Act request and get the information ourselves because it's private. We can't touch it. They just say, hey, we're going to slide this tech over to you, let you guys work on it. We give you the contract. You put a bid in. We give you the approval of the bid. You guys have the contract now. And now you work on this here. It's now clandestine. It's top secret. And nobody can get access to any of this information without clearance.
Which is including the money trail.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Everything. that kind of decision making is by design.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, all by design. Why do you think NASA shut down the Shuttle program? Because we got to move it into private space, because in private space, nobody can get any of the information. We don't have to give up anything now. We can do whatever we want. They send these military shuttles up all the time. They go out in space for 2 years sometimes and come back. These X-33s, they go up there and they come back 2 years later.
Right.
And but what they're doing and where they're going and the cargo they're carrying is top secret. So we take everything and move it to military, we move it to private, and now nobody can get any information about anything.
You've been hosting the Secret Space series over on Gaia. Mm-hmm. And when somebody asked me, Billy, where's the proof?
Yeah.
Where's the proof of a secret space program? I go, dude, X-37B.
Yeah.
And then normally they'll go, well, what is that? And I'll go, exactly.
And
the X-37B, this is the crazy part. Somebody will say, well, you would need thousands of people and to support something like the X-37B.
Yeah.
That there is the logistics behind that. A secret space plane has to be designed. It has to be built. Yeah. It has to be flown. There are engineers and logistics and support teams, flight planning, the flight as it is happening for 2 years. What is put on board that? And supposedly it's pilotless. We don't even know that. When you see it parked, right?
Yeah.
I think a body or two could.
Oh yeah, come on! It has a cabin. Yeah, it's got a cabin.
So to launch an X-37B, think about the thousands of people that are there in that secret program to allow that flight to take place for 2 years.
For 2
in total
years.
secret, and nobody knows its mission. Nobody.
Compartmentalized.
You want to tell me you can't keep a secret space program in play? Well, we've got the X-37B, and that's the only one that we know about, Billy.
Exactly. Yep, that's right. I mean, and that's it. They're hiding that in plain sight. Oh, it's landing today. What's landing today? Oh, the X-37B. What do you mean? Well, what's it got? Oh, we can't tell. It's top secret. Where'd it go? Top secret. What kind of cargo? Top secret. 2 years? And it has the most advanced navigation system of any other space vehicle, supposedly, that we ever put in space. Well, why would it need that? Why would it need advanced navigation? Where the heck is this thing going?
For 2 years.
For 2 years.
For 2 years. So, yes. And I think that is proof. It's not evidence. It's proof of a secret space program. And that's only what we know about. So the logistics, the design. When I say logistics, you've got to think about everything that goes into a mission plan. And what is in play there. We are talking about thousands of people. It's not 4 or 5 people, operating a radio controlled airplane.
Right.
This is something much more complex and secretive.
Even the vendors that have to supply the pieces to make the doggone craft.
100%.
It's all top secret. Yeah.
So with these developments and the conversations that are happening right now, with the reveal of NASA absolutely pursuing the existence of something out there, an ETC, and then Bill Nelson, the administrator of NASA, 6 months ago, going on the public record saying, what stuff is here. It's here, and we've got to figure out what's going on. Not it's out there, that it is here right now. It seems that there is a pretty big event that is about to take place. Do you think that the reveal will be of extraterrestrial life, or proof of that, or that there is something visiting us that we don't understand, where it now crosses that Rubicon? Right, that we now are having this discussion. Is this imminent?
Yeah, it's imminent. They're not going to say alien life yet. They're still going to say that there's objects that seem to be coming to Earth, maybe visiting. Maybe they will use the term visiting or observing or monitoring or probing, advanced craft that we can't, keep up with. I don't think they're going to use the word alien for a while. Now, when they will use the word alien, I believe is when the space data comes back, when the Mars data comes back, from the new rover, the Perseverance rover that went out with the science kit. It's going to send back those soil samples, and it's going to prove that there's life on Mars. It's going to prove that they're going to, microbial life at least. And that's when we'll hear the term alien. And then maybe another 10 years, I think they'll then eventually say, there's potentially aliens in these craft. It's a very slow disclosure process. They have a drip by drip disclosure process, how they roll it out to us. To why they move so slow, human beings don't live that long. We on average, they got us down now to about 75 years on average. And so if they can space this thing out for another generation or two, then they can control the whole narrative. And that's what they're trying to do.
The opportunity to say that something has been discovered, right? Where now we make a scientific discovery and we make the announcement. Well, that dates everything.
Yeah.
So they can focus on now and moving forward.
Yeah.
They don't have to make any admissions about the past.
Exactly. Yep. And speaking about the past, it brings me up a good point. Ronald Reagan left his diary, and I bought the diary. It's a huge diary. It's massive. This guy kept a diary every single day. He wrote in it multiple times a day. You can buy it on Amazon.com. It's a little expensive, but it's well worth the investment. And in the diary, he says he had lunch with 5 top space scientists. It was fascinating. This is April 13th. This was June 11th, 1985. June 11th, 1985. Lunch with 5 top space scientists. It was fascinating. Space truly is the last frontier, and some of the developments there in astronomy, etc., are like a science fiction movie, except they are real. I learned that our shuttle capacity is such that we can orbit 300 people.
What?
Yeah, this is Ronald Reagan's own words out of his diary.
No, it's not. You're making that. You made
Page
that.
334. I can go get you the diary. It's in my office right now. I'm looking at the quote on my computer because I just talked about this the other day on a video.
Is it a typo? Did he mean to write 30?
No. He this is what he meant to write. 300 astronauts can orbit in space in one craft. Now, and that was as of 1985. Yeah, 1985.
When was this diary released?
This diary was released. I can look it up real quick for you. It's let me tell you right now.
Why isn't everybody jumping on that statement?
I don't know, man. It's just another tidbit that I found in my research of the Black Knight satellite. Yeah, and I said, wow, let me verify this. And I actually bought the diary, right from Amazon.com.
What?
You can go to the Library of Congress. It's in the Library of Congress as well. So you can go to the Library of Congress and you can actually go read it there too.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm sure that the chat and the comments about this are going to be out there for the next couple of weeks. I want to get to the bottom of that. Somebody has to have picked that apart.
Yeah. Nobody. Not one person, man.
300. Our shuttle has the capacity for 300 astronauts.
Yeah.
That's what he learned. So he didn't know that until what?
Yeah. The publisher is HarperCollins, and it came out January 2007. January 1st, 2007, it was released onto Amazon at least. But it was published in January 1st, 2007. And it's the official Ronald Reagan diary. It's the same one at the Library of Congress. So anybody can go verify the information right there. And that is the exact quote out of the thousands of pages in this book.
Were there any other nuggets like that in there?
I didn't look for them yet. I just went specifically to that nugget to make sure it was accurate. And
that's a heck of a nugget. Man, that's a golden nugget right there.
Golden nugget. I mean, the same guy that said that we have aliens coming from space at the UN, we need to unify against a common threat, an alien threat. Now he says that we got 300 people we can put in space.
Well, he had his own UFO sighting, that him and Nancy had on the Pacific Coast Highway near Malibu, and that changed him. Mm-hmm. And when you see something like that, and he went to, I think he was going to Lucille Ball's house. There was a party, and he drove him and Nancy. They were at the park telling everybody, we just saw a UFO in Malibu. Yeah. So I think that he has always chased this down. Mm-hmm. Once you see something like that and you have that paradigm shift and you see something that doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And I think at the time he was governor of California. Yeah. And so and especially California's position in national defense, Sacramento and the things that were going on in the aerospace industry right here in California, he understood a lot of things. And then you go and you see something like that for yourself. Well, then something's not quite right. Yeah. So I think he had always had an interest in that. Billy, when do you head to Detroit?
I'll be heading up there on Friday, actually.
You're heading up on Friday. It's going to be a great weekend. Yeah. Are you going? Okay. Is there going to be a Q&A?
There'll be a Q&A. Yes, there will be. Right after the documentary.
Nothing before, just after?
We'll have a red carpet there. We'll take photos, pictures. I think there's going to be a lot of people moving in and out and around. There's some celebrities coming, news, media. There'll be interviews on the spot on the red carpet. So that's going to take a lot of time. And so I figured we do that, then go in and watch the doc. Then I'll talk for about an hour with a mixture of question and answers. You'll be up there, come up and answer some questions as well. I think it's going to be a great night.
It's going to be fantastic. Yeah. And I mean, I just can't wait for this. Yeah. We have I've been along for the ride, but we've been working on this film for a very long time. But to see it come together, to see it come together and have the opportunity to go and celebrate with you in Detroit, man, it's going to be a fantastic night, and I just so look forward to it. So safe travels to you and Elizabeth, and I'll see you in a couple of days, my man.
Yeah, a few more days, man. We're going to have a great time. Appreciate you.
And then right after that, we go to Egypt.
That's right. Oh, man. Whew.
What a year this is going to be for the two of us. Thank you so much, Billy. Again, safe travels. My best to Elizabeth.
All right.
And I'll see you in Detroit.
All right. See you soon, man. Love you, brother. Peace.
Love you right back. Billy Carson. And it's going to be great. So I will see all of you that are going to be attending. We'll see you Sunday night right there in Detroit. And I am going to take a quick break, and I'll swing back and take some of your phone calls. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church, talking tonight. I've almost lost my voice. Not really. It sounds like it. Nah, I am good. I'll be right back after this short break. 747-228-2051. 747-228-2051. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the X.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
This is Billy Carson, founder and CEO of ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv is the fastest growing and one of the most watched networks in the world. And I would like to personally invite you to check out our expanding library of TV, film, lectures, and special presentations. ForbiddenKnowledge.tv has over 6,000 videos covering lost history, health, UFOs, spirituality, and our future. We are committed to our community, and with my personal invitation, you can right now get your own free 30-day membership at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv. Your own library of information starts today at ForbiddenKnowledge.tv.
Your 1 million gigawatt paranormal powerhouse, KUNX-DB, the X.
Are you ready to read about true paranormal events? UNX Media publishes nonfiction books about UFOs, ghosts and haunted places, time anomalies, cryptid creatures, and more. Just like KUNX-DB Radio, it's all about unexplained phenomena. Visit www.unxmedia.com to see our list of great book titles by Debbie Ziegelmeyer, Gene Walker, Devin Listrom, Wayne Lawrence, Bill Spicer, and yours truly, Margie Kay. That's unxmedia.com.
When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of fade to black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What a great conversation. Billy Carson. The Black Knight satellite is in this movie, the amount of research that has been compiled that is in this film, it's going to blow your mind. And for everybody out there, including myself, when you go out and you look at the Black Knight satellite and you attempt to do research, you just find little tidbits here and there, and it's a tough thing to get into. The amount of time, and it's been a couple of years, that has been put into this. There is some revelations that are going to be brought out in this film. It's mind blowing. I can't wait for all of you to see it. I just play a very small little part in this film. There are so many researchers that are in this film bringing their knowledge forward. It's absolutely incredible. So I believe it's going to stream at Forbidden Knowledge. There's going to be some live streaming going on. I'm going to live stream from Detroit, and then after the premiere, the release is going to happen, and I will let everybody know. And certainly you can go to forbiddenknowledge.com and .tv to find out how you can see the film. This is a game changer.
This one is really, really good. So I've opened up the phone line, 747-228-2051, 747-228-2051. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Black Knight satellite gets brought up in the hearings. You know, what has the government known about the Black Knight satellite? They've certainly been tracking something up there for the better part of 70 years. And this polar orbit object that was seen in the 1950s, there's been data collected. And what does the Air Force know about it? And I would not be surprised with everything else that is going on with UAPs and UFOs and the conversations about what the government knows, what the agencies know, what's the data, what is going on, and what is the science behind this. This is something that I would not be surprised. I really wouldn't. 747-228-2051. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Say, Michael from Saskatoon.
What's up?
Bro, Jimmy, great show. You know, I've talked to you previously, you know, about things that have happened in the past. You know, we talked about the Sasquatch and things like that. But my friend, you know, I have to say that I'm in the group that you're in now, because last Tuesday, a week ago, Tuesday, 4 a.m., you know, I wake up early in the morning. I'm in my recliner, and I have a huge picture window that looks to the east, okay? And I'm seeing the moon coming up. It's a quarter moon. Anybody can look it up. Look it up last Tuesday. It was a quarter moon coming up in the east in Saskatoon, and I seen a green orb go from left to right, and it went like zip. It's just going, and it's horizontal. It's not a meteor or anything like that. And I just seen that, and I immediately got up in my chair, and I got up till I got past the trees, and it's just going, and it was so fast, Jimmy. It was so fast. It was just like it was horizontal. It was going horizontally, poof, left to right, from north to south. I'm looking to the east. Zip, it just goes by, and I'm going like, oh my God! I finally.
Okay, so this was 4 a.m. The morning of May 17th.
Exactly. 7 days ago from today.
The day of the hearing. Tuesday. It was the day of the UFO hearing. May 17th. Interesting. Really? Yeah. That would be last Tuesday, May 17th. Today's the 31st.
31st.
So interesting. Well, I'm going to throw that out, and thank you, Michael, for reporting that. I
want to say something. I thought about that for about a half an hour, and what I did is I phoned our local police, and I said, I just want to say something. I'm not crazy. I'm not drunk. I'm not drinking. I seen a green orb horizontally going from north to south, and it looked like it was close. I know what helicopters we have. I'm on the flight path of,
Michael, what did the police say?
They were not very polite. She kind of laughed.
Huh.
And I said, well, I just want to report it, because if somebody else calls in, I don't want them to think they're crazy.
Right.
Because I'm not.
Right. And no other reports. What about the news? Was it picked up in the media? Did anybody else see it?
That is what is really perplexing, Jimmy, because I went and looked online and I started searching things, and then I'm seeing, like, 2 days before, Delta Airlines pilot coming from Alaska going to New York reported a UFO, and it was reported like on mainstream media. It was in Canadian mainstream media. It was reported that he's seen that, and I'm just like, oh my god! Like, I looked at that before I phoned the police. Right, I looked at like green orbs, Saskatchewan, right, and also bang. And they're all recent. I'm looking at a whole bunch of recent reports. So I picked like the one that was the most hits, and it was like a Delta Airlines pilot coming from Alaska, going to New York, had a green orb flying around his aircraft. Anybody can look it up. Look it up. Anybody,
Okay.
Saskatchewan, Delta Airlines.
Yeah, and say, Michael, thank you for that. Let me get to the other phone calls. I do.
Hey, Jimmy, can I tell you one thing? I love you. I always do.
Yeah, right on, St. Michael. Right back at you. But I want to get this out to the Fadernauts. Did anybody else in Canada, Saskatchewan, see a green orb at 4 a.m. last Tuesday, May 17th? And let's get it out there, and I'll follow the comments, and you can certainly send something in email or pop something up in Twitter. I would like to hear from you. Very interesting. Called the police and popped in the report, so that is there too as well. Very smart move, St. Michael. So 4 a.m. a week ago today, Tuesday morning, Saskatoon. A green orb seen in the sky moving north to south. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Mark from Boston. How's it going, Jimmy?
It's going good. It's Mark?
Yeah, man.
How you doing, Mark? What's going on?
I'm doing all right. I have two questions. One, I'll take these off the air afterwards. But where do you think that the now that this Senate hearings have happened, and where do you think it's going to go with the UFO community, UAP community, whatever it is? Do you think we're going to get something good, or is it just kind of more of just, I don't know, slow trickle?
Well,
And
what do you
thoughts
think?
on it?
Yeah, what do you think, Mark?
Honestly, I think it's because it's now becoming a known thing. I get a feeling we're going to get pushed to the back burner, and it's going to kind of lose its interest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, something else is going to come up in the media, and it's going to like push the focus away to something that's like great for humanity.
Yeah,
And
like COVID round 3, right? You know, yeah, absolutely. I'm hoping that's not the case. That's always my Pandora's box. I think that I think that historically, Mark, that when we have a pretty big headline, right, that should cover the rest of the year, right? Something big, it gets covered up the next day. And how quickly, as a society, we're so used to now this 60-second news cycle, not 24 hours. I mean, something can be covered up that day, that afternoon.
It's like you hear something cool and then it's like gone the next day, and it drives me nuts because I think it puts us in that it keeps pushing us in that box of like the weirdos, the tinfoil hats.
It's so true, though.
It's not cool.
It's so true, and some of these events are tragic things that do deserve the headline and the conversation. But we cannot lose sight of what happened the day before. And we're used to that now, right? I mean, it is really crazy how we don't go back and go, okay, yes, okay, now that this is over, let's go back and discuss what happened last week. and we don't do that. We don't.
Like, there's no follow up. There's no like retort. There's no like kind of just like dies, and it's like drives me crazy because it's like, back with the crazies and stuff like that.
Right.
Lastly, Jimmy.
Yes.
I'm a big Celtics fan.
Yes.
Who do you got in the series, dude?
Man, you know what's funny about this? First off, I'm from Indiana. So, which means Larry Bird, which means the Celtics, and certainly the history that was created back then with Bird and Magic and all of that. But I'm also a Pacers fan because I'm from Indiana. So there's that part of it. But so I am not supposed to like the Boston Celtics, right? And that's why I love you. That's
why I love you.
Yeah, you know, and I live in Los Angeles now, which means there are no Celtics fans in LA County, right? Okay, so all of that being said, man, good on Boston. And how many years has it been? It's been 12, 13 years?
From the last banner? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Not that long. I mean, we just got one with Garnett and Pierce and them.
That's right. That's right. Now, congratulations. I like Boston. You know what I did? Okay, check this out, Mark. I actually did this when they tore down the Boston Garden. Okay, when they tore down, the Garden. I was in Boston and I'm with a friend, and this was at night. And he goes, "Dude, we're on the freeway, right? A highway, whatever you guys call it there in Boston." He goes, "Pull the car over, pull it over, pull it over." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "You got to see this." On the highway, we pull over right there and looked, and they were tearing it down. So the one wall was down, and they had all the construction lights on the inside for the demolition. And I stood there and I looked into the Boston Garden and got to see it at that moment. And I took some pictures. And it was just incredible that I was able to see that. I never got to go to a game at the Garden, but I got to see it get torn down.
You gotta come to Boston. I'll take care of you, kid.
Oh man, Boston is a great town. I mean, you know what's trippy about Boston? Before I get to these other phone calls, by the way, so that answers your question. I'm pulling for Boston. All right, is that when you drive into Boston, not flying in, not Logan, not flying. When you drive in, you're going through hills, you're going through forest, right? You're going through the outline, and you're like, when are we going to get there? And then you like pull over the last hill, and there it is. Boom!
Oh yeah, man.
Oh man, it is just crazy beautiful. I mean, it is the most picturesque city probably in all of America. It is absolutely incredible. And I love Boston, man. I really do.
All right, man. All right, quick hot take. Celtics in 7 or Celtics in 5?
You know what? I would like to see it 7. I like series that go 7 games. I like the nail biter aspect of it. For me, look, I know you guys want it in 4. I get that, right? I do. But
no, we're not sweeping we're not sweeping them, dude. No way.
I know. No. I don't want to see anybody dominate. Yeah,
he's a bad man.
I know. It's going to be great. So I would like to look Boston in 7. Okay, all right, and 7 amazing games. Let's enjoy it. It's you know what that is? That's 7 nights with the family. That's 7 munchy sessions with great food and drink, and string it out and go to a game 7. So that's my take. Go Boston.
Cool. It was great to talk to you, man.
It's good to talk to you, Mark. Go back, Tappy, to you. That's great. I don't get a chance to talk sports. Thank you for that, Mark. Much anymore. But when I got the word that Boston pulled this off, I was like, you know what? Good on Boston. So there you go. All right, I got time for one more call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, good night. Good night. Good morning. Hey, Jim, it's Raul from Chicago. How you doing?
Hey, Raul from Chicago. How you doing?
Good, man. Sorry about that. I was a little bit drinking, so.
That's okay. What's on your mind?
Hey, listen, man. Say this call for the best, I guess, for the last one. So, hey, I got a little story. My brother just sent me an email or a text message about one of his friends who spotted a UFO last week around 4 a.m.
What?
And yeah, so I'm going to send you this email real quick with the picture of what he just sent me. I want you to read what he said. So he told me that his friend was traveling at 4 o'clock in the morning to work, and he saw a light in the sky. And what happened was...
Okay, I've got it right here. Okay, well, that's a disturbing picture. Where is that? What body part is that?
That's right by his armpit.
That's his armpit. Okay.
Right. So if you lift up your arm, it's like right underneath your armpit, like on the side of your shoulder blade.
Okay.
So that's what came up on his arm.
What?
Yeah.
What? Are you serious? Okay, it looks like...
I'm as serious, as nervous as I am listening to this story. I just tuned into you for the last of it. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm sorry. I'm shaking.
Okay, Raul, where did this happen?
It's in Chicago, up north.
Really? And this UFO sighting just happened at 4 a.m. last week, too?
Yes.
Okay. Now, isn't that interesting? Okay.
Yeah, so this is just the beginning of my little investigation on this thing. So I'm not sure. This is what I just heard on your show. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm freaking out. I'm like, wait a minute. This can't be real. and that's the text message my brother sent me.
Now, was this was this last Tuesday?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm not going to publish this picture. I'm not going to post it, but can I describe to everybody what I'm seeing?
Sure. Go ahead.
It's 1, 2, 3, appears to be 4 lines of, I'm going to say, writing. Does that look like writing to you?
To me, it looks like writing, or if not, it's probably like, I don't know, like one of those boxes, I guess, from like a computer chip.
Okay, possible. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, now that trips me out by just saying that. Everything is at an angle. It's red. Right. It's definitely symbols that involve you know what though? You know what? It looks like a machine printed it. It doesn't look like it's like somebody drew it. No, that's not the case.
No, it's not.
That looks mechanical. That's trippy, man. Almost like a tattoo. It's red, and it's also incomplete. Wow, that's mysterious. That kind of creeps me out. Do you know how big? Okay, I'm looking at the armpit hair. I can't believe I just said that.
Sorry, man.
No, but it kind of helps you gauge the size of this. Right. So it's not small.
No, it's not.
Wow, that's really freaky. That's really freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
I wouldn't want to, after a UFO sighting, find that underneath my armpit.
Oh, no, definitely not. I also asked him to, talk to his friend and asked him to check his car or whatever he was in to see if, the radio, the time is off or anything on him, like his watch or anything that might be off.
Of course.
That's what I'm looking into right now. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking at or what is this. But, I mean, like I'm telling you, Jimmy, I heard I was in the shower listening. I'm like, wait a minute, did I just hear right? Let me get the hell out the shower quick, man, and call you right up and let you know.
Right. It doesn't look. It doesn't look like any writing I have seen before. It doesn't. So it doesn't look Arabic. It doesn't look Chinese. It doesn't look Indian. It doesn't look like English.
To me, it looked like a cross.
Oh yeah, I could. Well, sort of. Yeah,
Sort of. Yeah, but not doesn't show.
Well, you would have to turn your head this way. But that last line, the fourth line.
Last line.
Yeah. That's what the heck, man. That's crazy. That's it's too perfect. It's too perfect. There's no mistakes. It's not like a tattoo artist did this. You can tell it was done by whatever did it. It was a machine. And
I know. I told my brother he does tattoos, and I said, you know what? You tell your friend to get that tattooed, man, forever. Be printed on his arm.
Has it faded away?
No.
Oh,
I have no idea. I haven't talked to him yet, but like I said, that this is just news to me, and like I heard your show right now, I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell? And yeah, man, this is what I'm looking at.
I wouldn't want that on my arm. That's that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, Raul, do me a favor. Get some more information. What did the craft look like? What was the sighting like? The time, exact location. You're going to do all of that. Okay, so go and collect what you can. Get some more photographs. Get some updated stuff too as well. And let's see what it looks like a week later. Maybe it's more complete. Maybe there's more detail there. Man, you got yourself a case. That's impressive.
I know. I keep coming up with these cases, man. I keep seeing stuff. I'm the one who sent you those pictures from Mexico and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
This is
man,
great.
I'm telling you, I'm back there in August, so I'll let you know.
Man, this is a good one right here. All right. Hey, Raul, it's time to fade to black, man. Great phone call.
Fade to black, brother. You have a good night.
Thank you for getting out of the shower.
Yeah, I came running out, like almost slipping and falling. Like, I got to call Jimmy.
Oh, man. I'll talk to you, Raul. Behave and be well.
All right, you too. Take care.
Time to fade to black. I wish I could publish this. I can't do it. But I wish everybody could see what I'm looking at here. I need analysis. And so does Raul. It's at an angle. It's a series of dots with some lines that are coming down at an angle. It's 4 lines of writing. I'm saying writing because I don't know what exactly I'm looking at. But there's 4 lines, and it's definitely, man, that was done by a machine. That's not done by hand, whatever that is. That's crazy. It's too perfect. Yeah. It's like a dot matrix printer. Yeah, with lines. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe there's a simple explanation, but I've never seen anything like that on anybody's skin. No. That's pretty tasty right there. What a great night on the show. I want to thank Billy Carson for coming in, the Black Knight Satellite. Again, the world premiere for the movie is on Sunday. You can get all of the information for the film over at forbiddenknowledge.com and forbiddenknowledge.tv. The links for that are in the video description box below. And if you would like to come and hang out with us in Detroit, Sunday, June 5th, tickets, there's a few left, so you can come and hang out with all of us. It's going to be great. So I'll see everybody on Sunday. Certainly, I'll see everybody tomorrow night right here on Fade to Black. What a great night on the show. What a great week. I've had so much fun. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palmer, Renee, Dennis, and Kevin. Announcers are, man, little dry.
A little dry, a little better, though. Announcers are Steve Harder, Jay Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and this broadcast is only copyrighted 2022 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. That's a crazy picture right there. Raul, you got yourself a case. I'll see everybody tomorrow night with John Burroughs. Until then, be safe. It's time to fade to black.